So today I'm going to be talking about the Boston Celtics and their draft selections. I'll also discuss their upcoming free agency situation, Kemba Walker, and basically the overall direction in which the team will likely be heading in. What has felt like not so long ago, I guess we could say the start of the 2018-19 season, it looked like the Boston Celtics were the for sure number one team in the East, who at the time had the highest odds of making it to the finals. With Gordon Hayward returning from a devastating lower body injury, a summer of improvement for the young guys in Tatum and Brown, as well as a promising postseason campaign from Terry Rozier, who stepped up big in playoff series. It really looked like the Boston Celtics had the brightest future and one of the strongest built teams in the league. Now, what has been a very rocky season chemistry-wise, it is looking extremely likely that Kyrie Irving will leave the Celtics for, ironically, the Brooklyn Nets, the team that got screwed over by the Celtics in the 2013 draft day trade. It has also been reported that starting center Al Horford will leave the team in free agency. Through this year's draft, the Celtics made some bold moves. With the 14th pick, they selected Romeo Langford. I found this to be rather surprising, and I expected him to be selected in the late teens. Nevertheless, Langford has a lot of size and athleticism. Being 6'6", weighing 216 pounds, and having a long 6'11" wingspan, Romeo is the perfect modern-day body as a prospect. There's some red lights though. Langford shot only 27.2% from deep at Indiana. Now yes, Langford was injured with a thumb injury, which he played through every game with. It's still a concern and question we'll have when it comes to his transition to the NBA. And I think a guy like Romeo Langford has more potential than, let's say, an Andre Roberson or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And I say this because Langford is younger and already is a really good player in transition. Also, he's strong at driving to the basket and is excellent at throwing up layups and floaters. But I was mainly surprised about the fact that they went with another wing, which Danny Ainge has said you can never have too many wings in today's NBA. But anyhow, I really thought they'd go for a guy like Goga Bitadze, who ended up going to the Pacers. Then the Celtics chose to trade number 24, which was Ty Jerome, along with Aaron Baines to the Phoenix Suns for a Bucks 2020 first-round pick. This trade clears cap space, and also Baines said he no longer wanted to be a part of the team as he felt as if the Celtics won't be competing for a championship next season. With the 22nd pick, the Celtics then selected Grant Williams. Now, I'm not a very big fan of Williams, and that's probably because he's a tweener. He has the size of a small forward, but his style of play mimics more of a power forward. To his credit, he played fantastic at Tennessee, averaging almost 19 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 56.4% from the field, and 32.6% from 3. But I'm not so sure those stats can translate gracefully into the NBA if he can't develop a consistent three-point shot. He does have a little Draymond Green in him as he grew into an outstanding passer, averaging 3.2 assists per game during the 2018-19 season. And in terms of playmaking, he's known to always make the right pass, and overall, Williams is just a smart player and is a great locker room guy. So I think he would be solid as a small ball 5 off of the bench, or just continue to develop and hopefully become a starter and be the Kyle Kuzma of the draft. Now, with the newly acquired 33rd pick, they selected Carson Edwards, a score-first point guard who averaged 21 points per game as a junior at Purdue. He's also an elite playmaker and an overall very balanced offensive player, as you can see with his stats right here. And with the 51st pick, the Celtics selected Tremont Waters, who's basically a 5'11 point guard who played some solid basketball at LSU. He's like Carson Edwards in that he's another undersized scoring guard. And with the likely loss of Terry Rozier, the Celtics need as much point guard depth as possible behind Kemba Walker, who I'll get into that in a minute. So losing Kyrie Irving, is that good or bad? Well, I will say losing Kyrie won't be all that bad. It's clear that he wasn't always connecting well with the Celtics staff, management, or players, which is similar to the end of his tenure with the Cavaliers. And I don't really want to say this, but Kyrie Irving doesn't sound like the best guy to have in a team's locker room. And based on the outcome of this season, I wouldn't say he would be the best option as a team's leader either. Nonetheless, Kyrie Irving is most definitely an all-star player whose presence would most definitely be felt if he were to leave. Now with Al Horford leaving, which I guess I should mention, he's only leaving the team for financial reasons. He and his agent believe there's a bigger deal or a bigger set of deals for him in the marketplace. As we know, he's loved his time in Boston, and obviously Boston loved having him. I'm going to assume the Celtics offered him a shorter deal worth less money, and other teams are just going to offer him more money. It's as simple as that. And a team like the Dallas Mavericks or the Los Angeles Lakers are probably already making strong pitches for Horford to head their way. Also, we must take note that this is essentially Al Horford's final big contract. He's 33 years old, and he's a smart guy, so he's leaving for, as said prior, what's likely to be financial reasons. The Boston Celtics are not giving him as much money as he's asking for. Now, the Celtics also have Marcus Morris as a free agent. Now, this one's tricky. He could, too, leave if he feels there's no point sticking around with the team. He was very productive, averaging 14 points, 6 rebounds while shooting 38% from 3. And this team could very well lose 3 of perhaps some of the most significant pieces of their roster. Now, if the Boston Celtics renounce or lose Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, and Terry Rozier this offseason, which is likely, the Celtics would have up to $34.1 million in cap space, and the Celtics could very well go after Kemba Walker as their instant Kyrie Irving replacement. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Boston Celtics have emerged as the front runner to sign Charlotte All-Star guard Kemba Walker once free agency opens Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So the Celtics are looking like the likely destination for Kemba Walker, which is actually a perfect replacement for Kyrie Irving. Walker, being a better facilitator, doesn't have as much attitude, and just dominates playing team basketball. Kemba Walker averaged 25.6 points, 4.4 rebounds, 5.9 assists, shooting 44% from the field, and nearly 36% from 3. I think this would be great for both Kemba and the Celtics. And remember, they have Memphis's pick next year protected 1 through 6, and if not conveyed, it's unprotected in 2021. They should most definitely look to maintain Memphis's pick, as it is sure to be high value, as the Grizzlies just recently traded away Mike Conley and they're heading into a full rebuild. So they get Kemba. Their second move in business is to look to acquire a starting center, as this is currently their projected roster. And I'm not sold that Robert Williams should be the starter in his second season. I think they need to go for a guy in Steven Adams. This would have to happen through trade, though. Now, if they can't find a trade, they could look to sign Nikola Vucevic, and if they're not as lucky, they could go for a guy in DeAndre Jordan, Ed Davis, Robin Lopez, and Dwayne Dedmon, as they are all serviceable centers that could be worth at least taking a look at. The championship contender that never was will go into next season centered around Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart, their rookies, and Scratch that. They're getting Kemba Walker. So, I don't think the Celtics will re-sign Terry Rozier now. Not only that, why offer him an annual salary of $9 million, as yes, we've seen flashes, but we still haven't seen enough consistent evidence that Rozier is a true point guard in today's league. Essentially, the Boston Celtics are going to lose Kyrie Irving for nothing, lose Al Horford for nothing. But if they're ahead of everyone else for the Kemba Walker sweepstakes, maybe this team is already in a better position than it was 2 months ago. Hopefully Gordon Hayward returns into his original form, or either of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown take big leaps in terms of productivity and leadership, and the future of this Celtics team could oddly enough be fine. And they could very well compete for the number 1 seed next season. Anyhow, that's a brief summary of the Celtics draft, hopeful targets and free agents, and what the outcome of this team will be. Let me just say, if they get Kemba Walker, they're gonna be more than fine. Anyhow, that's it. Please like the video, and take it easy.